Hello, my name is Maya Liu, and welcome to Tips for Healthy Eating and Cancer Prevention on a Budget. I am the Wellness Program Coordinator for the Rural Health Network at Ellenville Regional Hospital. I have my master's degree in nutrition and dietetics, and I am a nutritionist specializing in chronic disease prevention. So let's go on this journey together. So the purpose of this workshop, we hope that by the end of it, you will be able to recognize cancer statistics and risks, have a general awareness of eating foods that are evidence-based for overall health and cancer prevention, and also learn some new tips on how to eat healthy on a budget. So we have to go through the non-fun statistics of cancer in the United States. According to the World Health Organization, between 30 and 50% of all cancer cases are preventable with healthy lifestyle changes and choices. That is actually a good statistic. So keep that in mind. Cancer is unfortunately the second leading cause of death in the United States, exceeded only by heart disease. So 1 in every 5 deaths in the United States is due to cancer, unfortunately. The 5 most common types of cancer that kill men and women in the United States in order of frequency are lung, colorectal, which is colon cancer, pancreatic, breast, and prostate cancers. So some of the risk factors for cancer include tobacco. Tobacco is the most important risk factor and is responsible for approximately 25% of cancer deaths. That's a large portion. Alcohol is linked also to 7 different types of cancers: oral, pharynx, larynx, esophagus, liver, colorectal, and breast cancers. And globally, 1 in 20 women around the country, around the world, is attributed to alcohol consumption. Infections have infections have a large percentage. 30% of cancers are from infections. Infections such as human papillomavirus or HPV are responsible for approximately 30% of cancer cases in low and middle income countries. Environmental pollution is a risk factor, and it is estimated that outdoor air pollution contributed to 4.2 million premature deaths in 2016. Of those, 6% were lung cancer. An additional 4 million people die prematurely from household air pollution, cooking with solid fuels and kerosene. Again, something to think about. Radiation is a risk factor. Going outside in the sun, although we need it for our vitamin D, it's very important to use sun protection. So UV solar radiation, and also including those that come from tanning devices, cause all major types of skin cancer. There is a link between chronic disease and cancer. Diabetes, for example, people with diabetes have a higher risk of developing certain types of cancer, and about 20% of cancer patients have diabetes. U.S. research studies have estimated that diabetes is associated with 25 to 41% increased risk of mortality from cancer. Obesity, to include physical activity, obesity, and being overweight. In the United States alone, more than 684,000 cancers each year are associated with obesity, and at least 13 types of cancer, including breast, colorectal, liver, gallbladder, pancreatic, ovarian, and thyroid cancers, are associated with obesity and physical inactivity. Cardiovascular disease, which includes things like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and heart disease. People with CVD are more likely to develop cancer than those without CVD. Certain types of cancer are more strongly associated with CVD, including lung, rectal, prostate, and colon cancers. Cancer survivors have a 42% higher risk of cardiovascular disease overall. So we get to the fun stuff and the good part. Nutrition for overall health and cancer prevention. As mentioned earlier, cancer is up to between 30 and 50% preventable through lifestyle changes and nutrition. According to the American Institute for Cancer Research, there is no one single food that can protect you against cancer itself. However, evidence-based research shows that a diet filled with fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, and other plant foods help to lower the risk of many cancers. So why is this? Many minerals, vitamins, phytochemicals, and antioxidants demonstrate anti-cancer effects. By including more of these foods in your diet, it will help you to reduce your risk of developing cancer. So here is a beautiful representation of foods to include in your diet. You want to look at it as including them in your diet, not so much what you have to take out. There are certain foods that we will discuss about wanting to limit, and that's in the next slide. But for this, you want to eat the rainbow. Take a look at this. Blueberries, apples, asparagus, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, carrots, cranberries, flax seeds, garlic, grapefruit, grapes, kale, oranges, raspberries, any of these items, spinach, squashes, strawberries, tea even, and tomatoes. So according to the National Institutes of Health, there are certain foods that contain substances that have beneficial effects on health that go beyond basic nutrition. So the current recommendation is to eat from 2 to 6.5 cups of fruits and vegetables a day. This is from the National Cancer Institute and NIH. So included in these, that's something to think about. You want to make sure that you are eating that much every day. Those foods have been proven to help reduce the risk of cancer. Garlic is to include in this, including onions and scallions, have a high level of allicin, which is a sulfur-containing compound responsible for that strong scent, and also its cancer-fighting abilities, specifically stomach cancer. So you want to aim for about 5 cloves a week. You can do it. Make yourself a nice pasta sauce with fresh tomatoes, or chop up some cloves of garlic when you're making a stir fry. The next functional food is tomato. It's very high in lycopene. And lycopene has long been associated with cancer, anti-cancer activity for prostate cancer specifically. And most recent research shows that it may possibly protect against other cancers, including breast, lung, and colorectal cancers. So you want to aim for 2 or more servings a week. Berries. Berries are a powerhouse. Any kind of berries, strawberries, blueberries, cranberries, raspberries, blackberries. They are packed with antioxidants. And what an antioxidant is that it helps to protect cells from DNA damage that happens with normal metabolism. They can also help reduce inflammation, and those things can increase your risk of cancer. Anthocyanins, which are a type of antioxidant, and certain compounds may help to reduce cancer's ability to develop, grow, and multiply. So you actually want to aim for about half a cup to 1 cup a day of fresh or frozen berries every day. Along with this, there are certain foods that you do want to avoid. So there are foods that you would like to limit to help reduce your cancer risk. So a lot of us grew up eating foods that might be okay to eat, but they aren't necessarily the best thing for us to eat. As you build your meal plans, as you eat throughout the week, make sure that you're not overdoing it with these foods below. And it's best to have them in small portions. Excessive consumption of alcohol, processed meats, red meats, and sugar-sweetened drinks can all increase your risk for cancer. So alcohol is listed, processed meats. Why are processed meats bad for you? Not only are they high in sodium, but they also have a compound in them called nitrates. Sodium nitrate has been proven to increase cancer risk. So you really want to limit anything that has nitrates in them. Red meat is high traditionally in saturated fat. Saturated fat increases your risk of things like high cholesterol and possibly cardiovascular disease, because saturated fat can increase what happens when your arteries get clogged with plaque. And so you want to reduce that because, as I mentioned previously, there is a link between chronic diseases and cancer risk. Also, you want to avoid any sort of sugared drinks. So, as much as we like to eat all those things, and I do think it is okay to include them in your diet on occasion, nobody's perfect. We all like to treat ourselves, and I think that that is okay to do, and it is very healthy to enjoy your food as well. A simple way to see that you're following good guidelines for health is to follow something called MyPlate. I'm not sure if anybody remembers, but it used to be called the 4 food groups. Then it was called the Food Guide Pyramid. And since 2012, the USDA has changed it to MyPlate. They wanted it to be a visual, and I think it's actually very helpful. So this is what your plates should look like. You should have half of your plate be fruits and vegetables, if you can. You want to make a quarter of it grains. So when you talk about grains, you want to include things that are complex carbohydrates, things like brown rice or wild rice. Maybe instead of a French fry, you want to do a baked potato with the skin, or a sweet potato baked in the oven. There's also things like buckwheat and quinoa. You can also even do oatmeal as a side and make it a savory dish. And with the protein, you want to shoot for lean protein. Things like chicken, chicken breast, chicken thighs, boneless, skinless, any sort of fish, any sort of lean beef as well, or pork, as long as it's lean. That is going to help give you that plate that has everything you need for good health. In regards to a drink, you can choose a low-fat dairy drink, and also even something like water, which is very important for good health, or any sort of non-caloric drink as well. So we at Ellenville Regional Hospital, I hope that everybody who's seeing this lives close by. Usually on the 2nd and 4th Thursday of the month. It is twice a month, and we do have a calendar for the year, so you do want to make sure that you check that calendar out. We do have a drive-through food pantry, and it's not a pantry, it's drive-through fruits and vegetables. That's why we call it pharmacy. So please, you're welcome to come anytime. We also have food pantries in the Ellenville community. So places like Community Action, Ellenville Seventh-day Adventist Church, United Methodist Church, Family of Ellenville, St. Mary's and Andrew's Roman Catholic Church, and Ulster Heights Methodist Church. If anybody needs the information, we have a list of all the food pantries in the area. Please do take advantage of them, as they have much resources for healthy foods. So here's a cool little page, how to make your groceries last longer. So if you receive produce in, whether it's from the store or from a pantry or from our pharmacy program, here's a tip. You want to wrap lettuce in aluminum foil, and that will help to keep it fresh longer. You can freeze your bread. You can slice it up and put it in the freezer, and then when you take it out, you just toast whatever pieces you would like to have and eat. Fresh freeze herbs. So a good way to do that is you chop up the herbs, and you can put them in either water, or some people put them in olive oil if they know that they're going to use them, like for example in a sauce, or saute them, and use an ice cube tray. You want to store mushrooms in a paper bag. That's the best way to store them. Inside the fridge is good as well, but as long as they're in a paper bag. This was a fun one. You want to store onions in pantyhose. For some reason, that gives them the right amount of space and also air for them to last a very long time. If you don't have pantyhose, the most important thing is to leave onions in a cool, dry place. So in like a pantry, in a basket or something along those lines. The best way to store milk is in the back of the fridge because that is where the coolest area is. So for longer lasting berries, you want to actually wash them, soak them in water, but add a little bit of vinegar. And if you do that and then drain them, the berries will last a little bit longer. And with tomatoes, you want to keep them at room temperature. They come to be fully ripe when you keep them at room temperature, and they also have the best flavor. Okay, here's some more. So you want to shop the circular. You want to shop sales. We at Ellenville Regional Hospital Rural Health Network, we do have a menu planner that we prepare. If that's something that you are interested in, I will provide the information at the end of the presentation. But in general, you want to shop circulars. You want to shop what's on sale. And it's usually things that are in season, and that's the best way to eat and to shop. Certain foods that freeze well are things like cheddar, mozzarella, and black cheese. Any sort of black cheese freezes very well. There's no change to the consistency. So if something's on sale, purchase it and then put it in your freezer. Hummus freezes very well. When you thaw it, the best way to thaw it is just to put it in the refrigerator for like a day, and then the next day it'll be ready to go. Sometimes you may need to stir it, but really no change in taste or texture. So for any vegetables that you may have a lot of, you want to chop, you want to wash first, and then chop and blanch them beforehand, and then freeze them in bags. So blanching means that you take boiling water and you drop the vegetable in, and it's anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. So for example, broccoli, once it gets that bright green color, you want to take it out of the water and then you shock it with either an ice bath or cold water. If you Google blanching vegetables and whichever vegetable you like, that is the best way to store them in the freezer. And then when you're ready to eat them, you can just take it out and pop it in boiling water again or put it in the microwave. A fun way to make soup stock, excuse me, is to take your peelings when you're peeling vegetables and put them in a plastic bag and freeze them. Things like carrots, celery ends, onion pieces, red and green bell pepper ends, doesn't matter. You just put them in a freezer bag, and when you're ready to make soup, you can put them in a pot and boil them. And make sure that you wash your produce beforehand though. But it's a great way to make a beautiful and delicious and very nutritious, nutrient-dense broth. So when we held this class, we did make a mixed berry smoothie. A smoothie can make with anything really. This particular recipe, 1 cup of whole milk. We used oat milk in case somebody was allergic. 1/2 cup of plain Greek yogurt. You don't have to use the yogurt. 2 cups of mixed berries. And if you need a tablespoon of maple syrup or honey, pop that in a NutriBullet or a blender, and you have a delicious, very healthful snack or breakfast. Also, that has protein in it with the milk or the yogurt. So here's a recipe that we would like to share with you: sheet pan salmon with roasted fall vegetables. It's very simple. If you don't have the herbs and the spices, you can make this with anything. You can make it with olive oil, salt, and pepper. You don't need the soy sauce or the sesame oil or maple syrup. These things just help to elevate the dish to have a little bit of more flavor. You can mince up some garlic and onions. Again, just some fresh salt and pepper, grated salt, grated pepper, olive oil, and this will be just as delicious. Another fun food demo that we've done is a turkey wrap. So you can take any sort of wrap that you like. I prefer lavash bread. It's available at Walmart. It's a very nice a nice, easily rollable wrap. So you can do spread. This one calls for mayonnaise and mustard. I most recently did a wrap with hummus, topped it with spinach, topped it with turkey breast slices, and then some red peppers. And then you roll it up and slice it into 1-inch pieces, and it's a perfect little snack, or you can eat it as a wrap as well. Really anything. The reason I choose turkey is because it traditionally does not have nitrates in it, so you want to keep an eye out on the ingredients in any lunch meat that you use, as I mentioned previously. But a great snack and very tasty. So a few more notes. Studies have shown that organic produce may have more of certain antioxidant and type of flavonoids, which have antioxidant properties. So something to keep in mind also is that pesticides have been proven to cause certain sorts of cancers in children. So if you can afford it, if you are able to buy local at your local farms, because by default they either follow integrated pest management, which means that they would only spray if there was a problem with the crop. The level of pesticides, it's much, much less, or obviously any sort of local farm that follows organic practices, or organics that you can buy in the store as well. Every year there is a dirty dozen list, and it includes the foods that have the most pesticides in them. Unfortunately, berries are at the top of the list, so are apples. So again, whenever you can buy locally at a smaller farm or organic, it's simply going to be more beneficial for you and more healthful. They also every year put out a Clean 15 list. So those things are something that you want to maybe Google, keep in mind. If anyone is interested, I can email those to you because I do have them on file. Thank you so much for taking part in this virtual class. If you have any questions, again, my name is Maya Liu. I'm the Wellness Program Coordinator here at the Ellenville Regional Rural Health Network. I am happy to help you with any questions you may have. And I'll just give you my phone number very quickly so you can write it down. Please feel free to call me anytime. I can be reached at 845-647-6400, and I'm at extension 281. Be well and have a great day.